All right.
Forgot to mute us and stuff.
Oh, very good. What happened to the
I'm still on my
intro
game
there?
because they're missing. Sorry about that, guys. What's up, everybody? Actually, I'll be right back. Jeez, we're such a mess because Coster and Lucas aren't here again.
I know.
Welcome everybody to the Week Zero podcast. I'm your host for this week again, Connor, the only champs from the ACC this year. Doherty. To my left is Ryan. Is it football season yet, Fravel? Football season is year round, but kind of. But yeah, sorry, that was kind of sloppy. So yeah, we kept pushing it back, trying to hope the guys would join us and stuff. There's
Rigo.
Rigo just like he's just always there. So what we're gonna be doing today, guys, is we were hoping that we have all four of us here so we could do our own mock draft of the football of the NFL draft first round. And what we'll do is each week on Wednesdays we'll be going. We'll be doing the 8 picks. So we'll be doing 1 through 8 today, 9 through 16 next week, 17 through 24 the week after that, and then 25 through 32 the day before the draft on the 28th. So, and hopefully Ryan Ryan, Lucas, and Andrew can join us. Clearly, they think they have more important things to do than this. So what we're going to be doing, trades. So we've said trades are allowed, and amongst other things. So I guess, Ryan, we'll just have you go first each time. So let's go. We're just going to go right into it. First overall pick is the Jags for the second year in a row. They will not be taking a quarterback. That'd be hilarious if they did. That'd be absolutely hilarious. But
then we could officially label Trevor Lawrence as a bust.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure Lucas, as a Titans fan, would be happy to see the Jags continue to suck, because at least he's not a Colts fan who knows it's guaranteed that they'll lose to the Colts every year in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, Connor, but with the first overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson. I wanted to go O-line here, but the Jags went really free agency heavy on the O-linemen. So I think they need to shore up that D-line a little bit. They didn't have the best defense, let's just say that, last season. And Aiden Hutchinson, in my opinion, is by far the best edge rusher and the best defensive player in this draft.
Okay. Yeah, so I did the opposite. I was thinking of Hutchinson or, Thibodeau or one of those guys, but I did decide to go offensive line. Oops, that was my bad. I decided to go with Evan Neal, offensive lineman from Bama. They franchise tagged Cam Robinson for, I think, the second time. He's not an offensive lineman you want to rely on, let's just put it that way, at least to be on the left side. So put Neal on the left side, put Robinson on the right side, and you'll be able to protect Trevor Lawrence a lot better. Plus, what's up, Luke? Plus, Neal is also said to be very versatile. Said that he can play pretty much any position along the line if you need to. But I think you just put him at left tackle and just leave him there for the next, hopefully 10 plus years. If they're smart. If they're smart, it's the Jags, so they're not going to be smart about it. They're going to trade him they're going to trade him to the Rams within 2 years for a first round pick.
He also did have the best prospect grade of any offensive lineman in the NFL draft combine.
Yeah.
And was the highest rated of any. And like you said, he has almost no weakness in his game and is probably the most versatile.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if he's better than Penei Sewell though going into the draft last year.
Oh no, Penei Sewell is a
Sewell
Hall of
was
Fame
like-
type talent.
That's what people were saying. He had a Hall of Fame. I think Neil could be very good. Luke, I'm doing well, man. I wish everyone was here, but we're gonna get like Coster and all them. We're gonna come in, so they'll get to us eventually, and we'll just be pissed at them for not being here. Okay, so we should hopefully get through this pretty quickly since it's not much. Second pick is the Lions. So even though I haven't gone, I'll say I did not go. Even though quarterback's the biggest need, I don't think they're going to go quarterback. I think they're going to stick with Jared Goff one more year.
Okay. So what are you thinking?
I had them taking Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh,
There.
okay.
He's Michigan guy from Michigan. They built the trenches last year, taking Penei Sewell, plus a few guys took Penei Sewell in the first round. He pretty much just fell to them. And then they took back-to-back in the second and third rounds, I think, defensive tackles. So you just add another edge rusher on the edge there. He went to Michigan stuff, so it just perfectly works out. Jade, I mean, I think you like that. They get Hamilton. Yeah, Luke, we're allowing trades if we want to do that. Hopefully they'll be there. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, I think it worked. I think it would be good. Get the best, considered the best edge rusher in the draft, and shore up that defense a bit more to handle the NFC North.
So I'm gonna kind of go in a different route. Jade, who's actually my boy Juice, he's using his girlfriend's account because he can't have his own YouTube for whatever reason. But I got Kyle Hamilton going to the Lions.
I've not seen anyone suggest he's worth going top.
This is why. This is
seen
why.
any drafts, any updated drafts predictions having him going second.
Well, the ones before had him in the top 3.
Yeah, and then he fell because it ran a 4.7 in 40. That's not very fast for a safety.
I just look at Hamilton. He's 6'4". Okay. He definitely did not run a 4.7 when he was on the field at Notre Dame. He's, to me, in my opinion, he's the best overall prospect. If he didn't run the slow 40 he had
At the pro day?
yes, he would be probably the number 1 overall pick. With the issues that have came out with Kayvon,
I literally have not seen, even besides that, even before that, I've not seen a single.
It's just more I've read
overall.
Like I watched Mel Kiper, and I watched the Mel Kiper mock draft that he does with him and the other guy who worked for ESPN. And they both said that in their opinion, Kyle Hamilton was the best prospect, the best player. That was during the NFL Combine. So that was before he ran. But I just think he has all the intangibles. I mean, he's got the size. How many safeties are there in the NFL right now that are 6'2" or taller? Okay. He's got linebacker strength. He's good in coverage. He's good in the run game. I mean, what else? He ran a 4.70, but what else would you want him to do? I mean, he does everything else great.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. If he did go first overall, that would be unprecedented because a safety has never gone first overall. I literally just looked up every player that's not a quarterback that went first overall. They were all defensive ends, Bruce Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, running backs like OJ Simpson, and offensive tackles and stuff like that. Like there's been there's been a linebacker here or a defensive lineman there, but there's never been a corner or a safety that's gone first overall ever in the draft. So
what did Jabril Peppers go?
He was like 25th. He
Oh, I
fell.
thought he was a top 10 pick.
No, I mean he was probably going in, but he fell. I think he had an injury or something. He fell to like the top. He fell to like the 20s to the Browns. Remember? And then they shipped him off. Then they shipped him off to New England to the Giants for OBJ. And that's right.
I guess well, first of all, Luke, to get to your comment, let me ask you this, Luke. Have you watched college football? Like
he's English. He's
okay.
He actually lives in England, and he says he's a Wisconsin fan.
Just Luke, I want you to go look up the draft profile of Kyle Hamilton and just look at highlights and like his film study, and then come back and then tell me he's not one of the best safeties probably of all time, like coming out of college. Not like oh, he's the best of all time. I'm just saying size-wise, skill-wise, what he did as a freshman, like just go there and then tell me he's not a top 3 pick. If you just take away his 4.7 speed. There are guys that know way more than I do about draft prospects that had him originally as a top 4 pick. But I think also, like Jade had said, Juice, the Lions need safety. They do not have any decent safety.
I don't even know what's that.
Why would you're also drafting off of needs? I mean, Tracy Walker is probably their best safety. I mean, why not? Kyle Hamilton's there. I mean, he instantly is going to help your defense.
I mean, yeah, the highest. I mean, there's been second overall when a guy named Eric Turner was taken second overall in 91 by the Browns. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I think the reason why he's fallen is also he was injured. He missed a few games, right?
He only played 5.5 games since last season in college.
Exactly. Why would anyone take that? I mean, sure, you can look at what he did.
Well, he had 3 interceptions in 5 games. And
cool. Jermaine Waller had 4 in 4 games to begin the season. And he's nowhere near the top of the draft. I mean, he's a corner, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think. I mean, yeah, the Lions could go cave on here, but from all the stuff I've seen, it's either Aiden Hutchinson or because they don't really need O-line. They have a pretty decent O-line right now. They're not going to go quarterback. I mean,
no, I think they'll be in a position. They'll still be bad enough. They'll be in position next year for Stroud or Young at the top of the draft. Inside, they'll probably be picking top 5 again next year, maybe. Plus, they're not going to. Plus, with Goff's massive contract that he still has, he only has like 1 more year. But they're not going to draft somebody to sit to not want to start.
I mean, but Connor, though, seriously, who else do you think they go after? If Hutchinson's off the board at that point, I mean, do you think they go Kayvon? I mean, really? Do you think they would take Kayvon at 2? Or do you think they would take
Trayvon Walker? I mean, I've been seeing Walker jumping into the top 5, maybe even top 2 or 3. Maybe with Thibodeau dropping, that's what I've been seeing. That's what I've been hearing.
I honestly though, like, what if the Lions maybe trade back? I mean, if they're going to take Hamilton,
that's what I've heard too.
They could trade back to get Hamilton, because I've seen Hamilton because of his speed, like the whole 40 time, has projected like a 7th round, not a 7th round, a 7th overall right now. I can't remember what team that is. Who has the 7th overall pick? But
Giants.
The Giants.
They got that. That's actually was traded to them. I can't remember who they got that in that trade, but 5 is the pick they got this year, and then they got 7 in a trade. Would it be? Was it? Oh, it might have been them trading with not the Eagles. The Cowboys? No. I don't know.
So in that situation,
Giants have 5 and 7, and I know they got 7 from a trade or something.
In that situation, Connor, say the Lions trade back to 7, do you think they take Hamilton there? Do you think that's an okay spot to take him? Or do you think he'd be gone by that point?
I could see Hamilton. I mean, you'll just have to wait and see what I have. But
Okay. Yeah, so my second overall pick is going to be Kyle Hamilton. I can be called the homer, but at least I didn't have him.
Okay. Okay, fine. Who's your third? I mean,
so
you
my
got
third
third
overall. Who has that pick again?
Texans, who jokingly early, like in the mock in like the draft machine website, like at one point it literally just said needs everything. It literally just said that for the Texans at one point early in this offseason before everything happened.
So this is where I go. Another boring kind of pick. A number 3 overall in the 2022 NFL Draft, I have the Houston Texans taking Ikem Ekwonu from NC State, the offensive lineman. He honestly, from what I've seen, he could be the best offensive lineman in this draft. Obviously, Neal.
Oh, the Giants got 7 from Chicago when they traded up for Fields. Okay.
Obviously, Neal could. I think I've seen this like even when I went to Neal's draft scouting report at the combine. People kind of felt that Ekwonu was better, but Neal kind of got the benefit of the doubt, which I guess it's even in quotes if you go look at the draft profile on NFL.com. He gets the Alabama effect because he played at Alabama, played against some of the top defenders in the country on a year-to-year basis, and is a lot more battle-tested than Ekwonu was at NC State, which probably the best defense he played all year was Clemson. So in that stance, I think that Ekwonu could be, but he struggles in pass block, but he's the best run blocker of the two. And I think they need to protect Davis Mills at all costs, and I think Ekwonu could definitely be a left tackle they could have on the blind side for the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I originally did have him there too, Ekwonu as well, but I remember it's kind of funny. I remember they had Laramie Tunsil on the left tackle, so that's like the only good.
They do not have a right tackle though. That is the only thing.
Yeah, that's true. So I was thinking that, but I felt they needed to go defense. So I have them taking Trayvon Walker. I changed it.
Okay.
I think they need to follow what the Lions are doing. Build in. Either way, whichever way they do, build the trenches, because that's if you can protect the quarterback or get to the quarterback, that's how you're going to win games and stuff like that. So get a top tier pass rusher, build up that defensive line a little bit, especially since you just lost. I think Merciless just retired as from after 10 years, so they definitely need a pass rusher. So I think definitely taking Trayvon Walker will help them in that respect.
Okay.
Okay. 4 is the Jets.
Now this is going to be another kind of bland pick for me. I'm going to go offensive lineman again. With the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft, I have the New York Jets. It's the Jets, right?
Yeah, it's the Jets.
Yeah. The New York Jets taking Evan Neal from Alabama, the offensive lineman. That's where I kind of like looked at the two, and I think Neal gets the benefit of the doubt because he played at Alabama, kind of what I talked about before. But I think this would be perfect. You got a young quarterback in Zach Wilson, who's got decent amount of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. He just last year he had no protection and got killed in the pocket, kind of like how Burrow was his first season. Mm-hmm. So I think having that presence on the O-line like Neal can, where he can play either position, along with Elijah Vera Tucker, mm-hmm. I think, and Mekhi Becton, you could probably have one of the best O-lines in the country. So I think once they get that centerpiece, Oh, yeah, in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, in the country.
Yeah. You're talking to college football, but
Yeah, you're still stuck. You're still stuck thinking that.
yes, but I think that would help shore up that offensive line, and I think it would help keep Zach Wilson upright instead of running for his life on every single play.
Yeah, so I did the same thing. I went offensive line, but since Neil's off the board for me, I have them taking Ekwonu, or however you say his name, from NC State. It's also because Mekhi Becton played, I think, missed the entire season last year with a dislocated right kneecap.
Oh,
and
God.
apparently so he missed the entire season and most of it, and apparently he bloated in weight to like 370 pounds. So they're not entirely sure, if he'll be, he'll have to lose a bit of that weight. Not maybe, that's too much weight for an offensive lineman to have at his size.
Mhm.
So, excuse me. So if Becton isn't good to go, put him at Ekwonu at left tackle, put Becton at right when he comes back, or switch him around. But either way, when both of them are there, you have, two young, really good offensive linemen to keep Zach Wilson upright, and hopefully they'll probably address offensive line elsewhere in the draft at this. I hope they at least do. They need to definitely still do that beyond. Even if they don't take Ekwonu, they need to get an offensive line or something to protect Wilson because he was getting hit way too much last year.
That was one of the reasons I kind of flip-flopped Ekwonu and Neal, is because Neal's more versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Ekwonu has never played anything besides left and right tackle. Neal has played all across the line, even center.
Yeah.
So I think when you have two decent alignment like Elijah Vera Tucker and Mekhi Becton,
mm-hmm.
it kind of helps having Neal where you can put him at the right tackle position, the right guard position, if you have to center. But that's one of the reasons I kind of flip-flopped there.
Yeah, regarding what Jade says, Jets need a corner. They can get one at 10, I think, if someone's there. Gardner,
Yeah.
I think it's not. I think getting a corner inside the top 5 is too much of a reach. We've seen, unless it's a Jalen Ramsey, we've seen in the past, like Jeff Okudah with the Lions. It's only been one.
Mm-hmm.
Was he third last year or the year before? Was it 2020? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But he was terrible. He was like, I think the worst. Jeff Okudah was the worst corner his rookie year in the entire league. So yeah, he was 20. Was he 2020? Draft. Why am I draft pick? Third, 2020. So he's been in the league for 2 years. And he was absolutely terrible. Yeah, they can. I mean, Jay, they could take a corner. I think they'll, if they are in a spot where they can get someone at 10. It just depends how it falls. But I don't think there's any. I don't think either. There's not a corner worth taking inside the top 5 right now.
If anything, I think the closest is Ahmad Gardner. But
yeah, but I don't think. I think he's going to be inside the top 10. But I think he'll be gone before the Jets. Okay. Pick 5. Who you got? That is the Giants.
This is where
that's their first pick.
So on the Giants, I don't know if this is going to necessarily make 5 Points Vids happy, but I'm going to go D-line here. I'm going Trayvon Walker at 5. They don't really have an interior defensive lineman.
Thanks, Luke. I'm glad you could stop by at least, man. Sorry, he's just saying he can't stay too long.
Okay. But I think Trayvon Walker, like you said, he's been flying up the draft boards. Mm-hmm. I think he could help be a game wrecker on that New York Giants defense. I know it's not the sexiest pick. It's probably not I don't know necessarily what 5 wants, but I think that's something that they need to do at number 5. Shore up that defensive line and help at least the defense have a chance when Danny Dimes fumbles the ball.
Yeah, and this is Dimes. This is Danny's last year. Yeah. Yeah, this is his reaction to Tony. It's, if anything, his reaction to Tony was even more funny than his reaction to Danny Dimes being drafted. We just know the Giants are. I mean, just know. I mean, they have
They're
5
gonna
and
botch this pick either way. Like they're gonna.
yeah. So, but this is definitely Danny Dimes' last year. I definitely think Giants might be hoping that they can suck enough to get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. So, but I've been hearing rumors. So you have Trayvon Walker.
Yep.
Who I had 3. Supposedly there are rumors that the Giants, because they have 7, are willing to trade out of 5. And so, because of a trade that happened recently, I have the Giants trading number 5 to the Saints.
Oh.
Giants. I have the Giants and the draft system that the draft machine website that I did this all. It accepted Saints sending number 16, who they got from the Eagles, number 49 and 98. And in return, the Saints get number 5, 81 and 147 from the Giants. So the Giants get an earlier so the Giants get an extra second-round pick and a later third-round pick while giving up a mid-third-round pick and a late fourth. Is that fourth? No, a late fifth. Early.
That's actually a good trade, I think, for the Giants.
Mm-hmm. So, and then the Saints still keep 19. They can do something with that if they want. And so, with that pick, with the Saints going to 5, I have them taking Malik Willis.
Oh,
because
wow!
Even though I
don't think they're going to stick with famous Jameis.
No, what they'll do is they would do this trade, but have him sit free behind Winston, or until Winston inevitably gets injured, and then they put.
Well, at that point, though, don't you think the Seahawks would try to? I mean, if they wanted Willis at 9, do you think they offer the same package as
the Seahawks?
If the Saints offer that package, the Seahawks have way more picks, especially early round picks with the Denver trade, than the Saints do. So in that situation, wouldn't you think, since they're division rivals, that the Seahawks would call the Giants if they really wanted Willis and be like, hey, we'll give you the 9th pick.
Well, they're both. You mean they're not division, but they're both in the NFC.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But don't you think, if I'm a Seahawks, I wouldn't dare let the Saints anywhere near that. And at that point, the Saints have more leverage because they have the 9th pick.
Maybe. I mean, it just depends. I mean, but my logic is, regardless of what the Seahawks do, my thinking is just the trade the Saints did, getting those picks from, or getting 16 and 19 from the Eagles and stuff. To me, I feel like they were trying to get an extra pick because they already had 1 pick and they get another one while trading up as well for both. So they had to give up a bit more. So they had to give up their first-round pick next year, but they still have 2 more picks next year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think, you're looking at that and you're wondering why, because they only moved up 1 or 2 picks for both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unless they're going to package one or both of them, and packaging both of them to go up to 5 plus another pick was too much of an overpay. The Giants would have to give a bit more back in return. So I thought 16 by itself, or 16 with a high second and, a late third would be fair for the Giants to get in return. So, I think they'll go. I think, there has to be something where they do this trade where they're like, okay, we now have 2 seconds. With 2 firsts we can play with. Let's trade one or both of them to get at least inside the top 10. And apparently, like I said, the Giants apparently have told people, they have 5 and 7. They're willing to trade out of 5 apparently, and or 7. Maybe not 7 because that's the one they got from the Chicago. But they might be willing to move out of 5, right? And because I don't think they're going to take a quarterback now. Right now, the new regime is willing to give Danny Dimes at least one more chance. It seems.
I think that's because they're tanking for Bryce Young, but
probably. What's a good acronym we can? What's a good slogan we can think of? What rhymes with Young, or
wait, no, they're playing
Bryce
What?
Price?
Price.
Prize for Bryce or something along those lines?
Or playing dumb for young. There we go.
That kind of works. I don't know. Someone will come up with it. That's more smarter and better coming up with stuff like that than us. But yeah, I think, it's just when you look at what the Saints did with this trade that they did with the Eagles, they give up a lot of draft capital to move up, right? Or to just move up a few picks from where they originally were. Bad for Bryce. I mean, that's okay, Luke. But I think,
Bad for Bryce.
now, personally, I will admit I don't actually think there's a quarterback worth taking inside the top 10 personally this year, even top 15 really. But I feel like there's enough teams that need a quarterback or uncertain at least after this year that they're gonna go get them, right?
Mhm.
Because there's no bona fide number one quarterback. You go to 5 different sites, you're potentially going to see 5 different quarterbacks be ranked first in there. You know what I mean? Whereas next year, at the very least, there's Stroud and Bryce Young. But then after then, there's a pretty sharp drop off after those two. Because
We also have DJ. Well, if DJ comes out, depending on how good.
yeah,
his
but you
season is.
got guys like Aiden O'Connell and stuff from Purdue.
God.
There's no, I looked it up. There's no other than those guys unless
Keaton Slovis. I guess if Slovis has a good year.
Yeah, but it's still, even if he has a decent year, that's still such a huge drop off from.
You also got to think. I guess if you look at the last 4 drafts, we've had at least one QB come out of nowhere that nobody expected to be a first round pick.
Leading in that year. So I was Zach Wilson last year. But I mean, I guess you could argue Kenny Pickett went from
Pickett, Zach Wilson, Joe Burrow.
Howell is nowhere near a top 5 to 10 pick, Jade. I don't think that's going to happen for Howell.
No, I think he's saying for next season. But
Howell's coming out this draft.
Yeah, he's coming out this year.
He's coming out this draft.
Trade up for Drake London.
So yeah,
trade up for Drake.
So yeah. I mean, there were 2 different trades that I had that the system actually accepted. It was actually either 16, 19, and 98. What do I have? Yeah, apparently the system was willing to accept 16, 19, and 98, but I think that was a little too of an overpay to move up that far, to move up to 5. But I just what the Saints are doing with the trade they did, I don't know what to think. I think they are gonna try and move up. They now have a little bit more ammunition, at least this draft, but they only have 6 or 7 draft picks. It's not really that many. So, unless they're gonna take 16 and trade it plus something else to move up, and then trade 19 to someone else to collect a few, like a second and a third round pick, and on the back end. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So yeah, Giants trade to the Saints, and the Saints take Malik Willis. That's what I have. I do like the fact that you liked that trade. It was a good trade in my opinion, I think. So 5. So Giants send 5, 81, and 147. Saints send 16, 49, and 98. That's the trade. Okay. Number 6.
It's the Carolina Panthers, right?
The Panthers.
Okay. This one was kind of hard for me because I think they could go one of 2 routes. I think at this point you could go Kayvon alongside Brian Burns, which would be
I forgot about that.
A killer duo.
They have Brian Burns.
Yeah,
he's have him, and he's
one of the best edge rushers in the NFL on a year-to-year basis. He just plays for one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
but I think they need quarterback here. I think they trade. Sam Darnold before the draft, or even on draft night. And I'm going to go Malik Willis here.
You have that for Malik. Okay.
So I think the Panthers they're and from reports I've seen, they're really in love with Malik Willis.
Willis has been visiting a bunch of teams, but I think when people weren't sure about Willis, but then that pro day where he was just throwing bombs just convinced everybody, like, oh my God, we got
his draft stock. He's kind of been all over the place because.
That was before the pro day. Then the pro day was like pretty much seemed to make him the consensus.
I guess me personally, I still think Pickett's the better quarterback. Like not like arm wise, but overall, I think Pickett is more pro ready than Willis is, because Willis kind of reminds me of like that Lamar Jackson type.
Yeah.
Or even Cam Newton, I guess you could say.
But the thing is like from what I've seen, he's not the same. He didn't run or be as. It's not that he's not mobile. It's just they didn't have him.
He is explosive with his legs, though. Just as explosive.
But they don't have him do it as much as Lamar or Cam did. You know what I mean? In college, I think they rely a little bit more on his arm, which is why he's going up the draft boards.
The thing that bothers me about him is the accuracy. He's got a strong arm, but there were times at Liberty where his accuracy wasn't very good, and it wasn't like
it's like Josh Allen. Allen, he had terrible accuracy coming out. He sucked his first year, was better his second year, but wasn't that good. Then exploded his third year, fell back a bit last year. But you know what I mean? It's just like
I honestly think Malik Willis, like I even said in my video I did, Malik Willis can be a superstar quarterback in the NFL, but he has to go to the right system. And I think he has to go to a system that's willing to work with his skill set.
It's just like Lamar.
Yeah, kind of how Lamar was. They build the offense.
The team has to be willing to change their offense and their thing. And unfortunately, if I think they go to the Panthers, I think if they have if he goes to the Panthers with the fact that it seems that most people seem to agree that Matt Rule is a dead man walking pretty much this year. That unless he can turn around the team somehow and get them 500 or better, he's going to get fired. Him and Joe Brady, who has been fired as OC, they were infighting apparently about how they wanted the offense to go last year. You know what I mean? Plus, not having CMC hurt them too. So, but
Well, I mean, I guess let me ask you this: Malik Willis, if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, what do you think the record is?
Having Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore.
Because I think that could be an explosive offense.
I think they can push 500 at the very least.
I really like that offense, though. That's one of the
reasons. I would agree too. I would like it too. But
you could kind of do the old-fashioned read option you used to do with Cam Newton. I know you don't want him to run as much, but I mean, think about a defense if you do like just a QB like a read option every once in a while. You got to come up and you got to worry about Willis, who is probably just as elusive as Lamar Jackson, and it can make people miss and make it look easy. And then you got to worry about Christian McCaffrey
when he's healthy.
When he's healthy,
he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he can stay healthy. But,
okay, yeah. So because I have Willis going to the Saints, I have them taking. I think they're going to go offensive line. I think they'll take the next best guy, who's Charles Cross, Mississippi State, to protect whoever they have at quarterback. Whether it's
you think they stick out with Sam Darnold?
Don't they have Teddy now? Didn't Teddy?
No, Teddy went to the
Dolphins. Oh no, Teddy was with them before. Where did Teddy go?
Dolphins.
Oh, right. But yeah, whoever they have at quarterback, Cross is the next best offensive lineman. I've been seeing, anywhere from 10 to, top 10 to top 15, it seems, though. He's the third best offensive lineman.
It's him, Neal, and Ekwonu, and then everybody else. Kenyon Green's probably the closest.
Yeah. But you take Cross, protect whoever that you have at quarterback, give them time to open up, or give them time to get hit. Robbie Anderson or DJ Moore, or open rushing lanes for CJ or CMC, whoever you have. I think that's I think offensive line is one of the bigger needs, definitely, other than quarterback. But I don't think there's. I personally think there's a big enough gap between Willis and the other quarterbacks to not go back to back.
You don't think Pickett is?
I think the fact that his sample, everything he did before this past season,
was kind of
worse than Like I think his career high in passing touchdowns like 14, and then he exploded for 42. Like
Well, it was the same thing with Joe Burrow. Burrow
yeah,
was
but
kinda,
same, but there's a but like at least Burrow won a championship and stuff, and still flashed a little bit at Ohio State. But I mean, it's just like I think people are being scared off by how small his hands are, even though somehow his hands grew. Even though, did you see some? Apparently, he had really small hands, but somehow his size of his hands actually grew between the draft and his pro day.
Well,
actually, it grew like a not a fifth of an inch. It grew like a tenth of an inch or something.
You didn't hear that he had a hand massage therapist working on his hands?
Huh?
Did you not know that?
He had a what? He had a massage therapist?
He had a hand massage therapist working on his hands to stretch out the muscles and the bones in his hands to make them bigger.
I mean, that's smart. I mean, his hands are like, what were they, like 8.75 inches or something?
They were only like a couple, like quarters of an inch smaller than Joe Burrow's hands.
Really?
So,
Burrow had smaller
yeah,
hands?
Joe Burrow had the smallest hands before.
Really?
Yeah. But
okay.
No, actually, that's hilarious because he can't get in trouble having massage therapists just work on his hands.
I think people are going to stay away from massage therapists for a while. And crap. So hopefully. Okay.
If you're an NFL player, stay away from the massage parlors.
Pretty much.
It doesn't always end in a happy ending.
Damn it. Right. Oh, God damn it. Okay. Let's move on to the 7th pick. We lost the viewer because of that. Thank you. Oh, my God.
They came back.
Okay. So 7 is the Giants. They got this pick from Chicago to allow Chicago to trade up to get Justin Fields. Because of course Chicago messed up their tank and made the playoffs not the last year but the year before, so they had to trade up to get Justin Fields because they screwed the pooch so badly making the playoffs.
So with the 7th pick in the 2022 NFL draft, I have the New York Giants selecting Ahmad Gardner from Cincinnati. Juice had said earlier they need a cornerback. They do. Looks like
he was saying the Jets need a corner.
Oh no, I thought he said the Giants need a corner.
No, he was saying the Jets.
But the Giants are parting ways with James Bradberry.
There you go. Jets need a corner.
They're parting ways. They're trying to find a trade partner for James Bradberry. And with him I'm assuming he's going to be gone. You need that other corner, and I think Ahmad Gardner. Who wouldn't love Ahmad Gardner in the Big Apple? Put some sauce on that apple. But I think that he would go good with the New York Giants, along with Trayvon Walker. I think that would help their defense tremendously.
Okay, this is where I have Kayvon Thibodeau going. I have them going edge and getting Kayvon Thibodeau. You just hope that whatever him supposedly taking plays off, hopefully it doesn't happen. Or, he's saying that doesn't happen, but I haven't seen the footage, but people are saying that does happen occasionally. But still get a prime, edge rusher, probably the second, probably truly, when firing all cylinders, probably the best pure edge rusher in the league, in the game. Or in the class. Yeah, I have him taking Thibodeau, and hopefully he doesn't go down the route of OBJ and, become a prima donna and stuff.
End up winning a Super Bowl with the Rams.
Exactly. After being traded to the Giants, after being traded
to the Browns,
to the Browns for peanuts.
And being blamed for being the reason that
that's pretty much the only trade I've ever seen where both teams actually lost. Pretty much. That OBJ to OBJ.
Well, I honestly think who do you think it was worse for, the Giants or the Browns?
That's a good question. The Giants still have because the Giants don't have Jabril Peppers anymore. He signed. I don't know who he signed with, but he just signed with somebody. I don't even know who they took with the picks they got. Took like they didn't even get like a first round pick. They got like a second and a third plus Jabril, I think. So it's like I don't know, but that's one of the rare trades where neither team really won it in the end.
Baker was the real loser in that.
So here we have Costers Falcons, 28-3.
Oh,
So,
love to see it.
So who you got?
So here is where I go O-line, Charles Cross. If you're a Coster, you're not going to like that. But who do they really have on the O-line for the Falcons?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you know anybody? I mean, maybe Lindstrom is probably their best.
Oh, he was taking he wasn't taking like last year, the year before.
Yeah.
I mean, being really good.
Isn't that really the only good offensive lineman they have?
Mm-hmm.
I think Costner and Lucas can say all they want about Mariota, but let's be real here. The Falcons are rebuilding. They're not going to be contending for anything within the next 2 to 3 years.
They're just hoping to suck enough to get Stroud or Young. There's a bunch of teams that are open for that next year.
It's tanking for Tua all over again.
Or suck for luck. That's definitely the best. That's definitely the best one that we've had in the past decade.
Or tanking for Trevor.
Can you believe that's been a decade since Andrew Luck was a
that is
with Andrew Luck?
I can't believe it's been that long since he retired.
Was that 2019?
Yeah.
God, the Colts should just be fired and they should just pack up the Colts in a Mayflower truck and send them back to Baltimore for destroying Luck career like that. I mean, that's what Jerry Tree said. He's like, I want to save this man. We need to pack Andrew Luck into a Mayflower truck and ship him overnight to Baltimore. Maybe they'll be able to actually save his career because they know how to build a team around a quarterback. Is literally what he said in a video.
Oh, we got Luke coming in saying that both teams that made the Hill trade will lose, the Chiefs and the Dolphins.
Jade, Falcons getting a quarterback, probably. I mean, that'd be hilarious if they overdrafted it for a quarterback here.
Do they have another first-round pick or no? The Falcons?
No.
No, they don't.
It's crazy, though. A quarter of the league has half of the first-round picks this year. So there's 8 teams that don't have a first-round pick this year.
It just shows that first-round picks aren't valuable anymore.
Nope, they're not that valuable anymore. Because the teams like the Rams and the Bucks have shown that in the past 2 years that you can just if you
give away draft picks,
if you can at least get the right players, you can just build it through the free agency and through trades and stuff, and just throw around picks willy-nilly. I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't gotten to that point, but I wonder if it'll ever get to the point where like the NFL institutes a rule similar to the NBA,
where you can't the step-in rule, where you can't
where you can't trade picks back-to-back years, so you have to have at least. So it's like you can't trade like your 2022 and then 2023 in a pick. Like, so you have teams that have like 20 that like have a pick this year but don't have a pick next year, and then they have a pick in 2024, yada yada yada. And then some teams already involving picks for like 2027 in the NBA and trades and stuff.
Oh yeah, well, and I think
wasn't that involved with like the Lakers? Like that
the
was
Lakers could only trade their 2027 or 2029. How that works?
Was that part of like the Russell Westbrook proposed trade to
for Wall and Wood, but yeah, I like that rule about the stuff like in the NBA, because even though the Lakers traded away all their first round picks last year, they could have had a first round pick, but they decided to trade it away. But I think the difference is,
so you don't have it where the Rams don't have a first round pick until what 2025 now.
But I guess the only bad thing about that rule is that you can't trade like for right now. Say how like the Broncos traded 2 first before they were made in back-to-back years, right?
Yeah.
In the NBA, you can't do that. But say you wanted to like do like a Steph Curry for Anthony Davis trade. You could say, hey, I'll give you Anthony Davis and a first, but because you couldn't do the 2 in a row. But then on draft night of that current year,
you trade the player that you drafted.
Then you can trade the pick.
You can swap the player.
Yeah.
You can swap the player. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can swap players after you've drafted them, or like you can swap the draft rights to that player for the player that the other team takes or something.
That's the only bad thing about that is it's very weird when you're watching on TV and they're like, oh, the Los Angeles Lakers have selected so and so, and then it's like he puts on a Lakers hat, walks up his interview, and then the interviewer hands him a different hat because he just got traded 5 seconds after the pick was made. By the way, you're going to Charlotte.
You're like, damn it! I was going to a good team for a second there. It's like when the guy got traded. It's like when Kobe was drafted by Charlotte and got traded to the Lakers. He's like, thank God I don't have to go to Charlotte. I get to go to LA. Thank God. Must have been so happy about that. No, Luke, because the Bucks are not winning winning this year. The Suns are finally going to win it. My God, the Suns are crazy good this year.
I would say the Lakers would win it.
Yeah, in your dreams in 2025. Okay, so you said you had who do you have them take?
I had Charles Cross.
Charles Cross. Okay, Falcons. Wide receiver. That is what they need.
Because Calvin really decided to bait.
Calvin really decided to They lost Russell Gage. They got Julio Jones. I don't even know who their quarterback or not the quarterback. I don't even know who any wide receivers on their team are anymore. There's like something I can't remember his name, but he went to Virginia. I remember his name was I just remember his name.
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus. That's about it. I don't know anybody else they have. So I haven't seen Garrett Wilson. Unfortunately, there's no true number one wide receiver in this draft. So
I didn't even think about that, honestly.
So, sure, they might need quarterback, but at the very least, they're hoping maybe next year some more quarterbacks are available in free agency or the draft. Have Marcus Mariota be a step holder or bridge quarterback for next year, and you just get Garrett Wilson to throw to. Yeah, Jade, whoever you are. I keep saying Jade, and I keep thinking it's a girl, not a guy. But Jameson Williams, I think it's just because he's injured. He's coming off an ACL tear, so I think teams are going to be a little bit more afraid.
His draft stock has plummeted.
It's fallen a bit. I mean, he's still probably if healthy, he'd probably be the number one wide receiver.
From what I've seen, he's not even a top 15 pick or top 20. He's kind of fallen out of that top 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, he didn't do anything at the pro day, like his pro day.
He couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying so that did also scares teams because they can't see what his 40 time or anything was.
Yeah. But. Okay. So that's it. We went through 1 through 8. Obviously, we didn't have the other two guys here, so we'll just have to wait and see what they have, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if they join us next week. Hopefully they do. Just quickly before we go over your picks again, 1 through 8.
So first overall, I had Aiden Hutchinson to the Lions, or not to the Lions, to the Jags. Second overall, everybody's favorite pick, Kyle Hamilton to the Lions. And number 3, who is that to again? Why am I blanking?
Didn't you have Ekwonu to the Texans?
I had Ekwonu to the Texans. I had the Jets. I had the offensive lineman Evan Neal, and then number 5 I had Trayvon Walker. Number 6 was Malik Willis to the Panthers. Number 7 was Ahmad Gardner to the New York Giants, and then number 8 was Charles Cross to the Falcons.
Yeah, Luke. So what we're going to be doing is we're doing 1 through 8 this week. Then we'll do 9 through 16 next week, 17 through 24 the week after that, and then literally the day before the draft, that Wednesday, will be the final 25 through 32. So just
Do
doing
the
8.
Packers have a first round pick?
They have 2. They have
Oh, they
22
do.
and because they got one because they got the Raiders. So they have 22 and 28. So they 28's their own 20. No, is 28 their own? Is that not because they lost in the divisional round? Maybe it must be theirs
You
then.
know what, Luke? You guys better be drafted back-to-back wide receivers because you guys had nobody through the
Probably. So number 1, I have Jags taking Evan Neal. 2, I have Lions taking Aiden Hutchinson. 3, I have Texans taking Trayvon Walker. 4, Jets take Ikem Ekwonu. 5, I have the Giants trading the 5th pick plus picks 81 and 147 to the Saints for 16, 49, and 98. And then the Saints take Malik Willis at number 5. 6, I have the Panthers taking Charles Cross. 7, I have the Giants taking Kayvon Thibodeau. And 8, I have the Falcons taking Garrett Wilson. So, yeah, hopefully next week we'll have the other guys here. And like I said, we'll do 9 through 17 next week. And I guess if the other guys are there next week, we can have them quickly go through who they have 1 through 8. And then we can give our you and me, Ryan, can give our recaps. I just don't know where the hell these guys have been or why they didn't join us. So,
but before
we got nearly an hour out of it, so we were excited, surprisingly.
Before we get out of here, we did have the Week 0 podcast tournament challenge for March Madness, the NCAA tournament. Sadly, well, for whatever reason, we only had one of you guys compete against us. And
Coster won.
And Coster.
Surprisingly, if I put in my fake or like my mock upset draft or my upset one, at one point I was I did like an extra one that was like just do all upsets. I was in the 98th percentile at one point.
Would you have St. Peter's winning it all?
No, I think I still had. I don't remember who I had winning that one, but I had at one point I wasn't like going into like at least into the Sweet 16. I was in the 98th percentile. Then it fell down to like 88, and I think it kept falling after that because then there was a bunch of upsets, but then kind of went chalk the rest of the way after the Sweet 16.
Do we know if St. Peter's has a football team? Like, because
I thought we agreed to do.
We're doing Southern Miss next week. We are.
St. Peter's.
Football? I just didn't know if they had a football team.
St. Peter's Peacocks. Oh, it was. Was discontinued at the conclusion of 2006. Damn it!
They used to have a football team.
They used to.
I want to wait. Can you see the pic? What does the picture of the helmets look like? The old ones.
I don't know. I just found the Wikipedia the shortest Wikipedia article I've ever seen. It literally was 3 sentences. It was like, this is who they were. It was literally like 3 sentences. It was literally like 2 sentences. They were in this conference. It was discontinued in 2006.
Were they D1 or FCS, or were they not?
D3, I think. I think it was D3.
Oh God.
Let me check that.
You know, I loved that thing, by the way, the LinkedIn Doug versus Insta Doug.
It's literally 4 sentences. No, they were in the subdivision. They were in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. They were in the MAC or the MAAC, which is obvious. Well, that makes sense because that's what they are in basketball. Because that's like Iona and all that.
I feel like those, like, if you could imagine, like, do a concept art of what their football jerseys would look like.
Dude, if they
so sick.
I would imagine that if you have like the Oregon with the feathers that Oregon has, but it says peacock feathers along the sides,
like it's different colored, like blue and silver.
That'd be awesome. That'd be cool, actually. But, maybe they'll get a bunch of money now, and they can bring back the football team, or at least update their basketball stadium because it looks like.
Oh God! Did you see?
It looks like a high school gym.
My high school gym was bigger than that. Like, they only have 2,000 students, so I don't know how much bigger.
I don't know.
People were making jokes saying they look like the 2K my court.
No, it's the my court and like when you're at like the practice facility my court. Where
Yeah.
there's no stands or exactly like that.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, but I'm just glad UNC didn't win it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I cannot
Otherwise,
stand
Lucas would be in here. If Lucas would have been here, he'd been smug. Broncos between the Seahawks. Seahawks have 9, Jade, because they got that from the Broncos, right?
Yeah, the Broncos don't have 9.
So you guys gave up your first round pick in what, each of the next 2 in this year, next year, or the year after that?
So just the next 2 years. So this one and the next year.
Okay, interesting.
And we still have 2 seconds, like second pick overall picks.
How many total picks do the Broncos have
Right now? 9.
9.
We have
Ravens
2. We have 2 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, a fifth, 2 sixths, and a seventh.
The Ravens have 5 fourth-round picks.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because they got 2 for. Because they got 2 as compensatory picks for Matt Judon and Yannick Ngakoue leaving in free agency last year. And so yeah, and then they have an extra they have like 2 third-round picks because they got one because of David Culley. So because if you have a team that takes a minor or a minority, hires like a minority head coach from that team, they get 2 compensatory third-round picks in back-to-back years. But Culley was only there for a year, so the Ravens got a pick for him last year. He gets fired, but they still get another extra third-round pick this year.
Oh, there we go.
So it's just hilarious. So, and then of course he's not going back to the Ravens because he used to be the wide receiver coach. So he's never going back.
Oh.
So, okay. Well, hopefully next week, guys, we'll have everybody else here. We got to figure out why Ryan. I keep saying Ryan. It's Lucas and Coster weren't here. Hopefully we'll figure that out. Clearly they think they have things more important than this show, but there's nothing more important than this show.
It's for the boys.
Exactly. So next week, guys, we'll do 9 through 16 as we continue our first round draft predictions. Hopefully we'll have the whole gang here next week for the first time, pretty much since the season ended. So we'll see you guys all then. For Ryan, is it football season yet? Fravel, I'm Connor. Only chance
for Russ goes.
40. And this has been the Week 0 podcast. You can find us on Twitter and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as well, I believe. So Facebook or just Instagram?
It's just Instagram, Twitter at the Week 0 podcast.
And you can find us as well potentially through there.
Yes.
But have a good night, guys. Be safe and
Russ for MVP.
And your Lakers suck.
They do.